Hi, I'm Charlotte Donlon, and this is another installment of Behind the Scenes with the Great Belonging, How Loneliness Leads Us to Each Other, which is my first book that came out last November of 2020, published by Broadleaf Books. And I am going to talk about chapter 11, which is called When Your Mother's Soul Has Left You. And I don't know if I've talked about the different parts of the book, at least not recently. Maybe I did in one of the first videos of this series, but The Great Belonging has 5 sections. The first one is belonging to ourselves. The second one is belonging to each other. The third one is belonging to our places, and then belonging through art, and then belonging to God is the last section. And then there's several chapters of varying lengths within each section. So I'm still in the belonging to ourselves section, chapter 11, When Your Mother's Soul Has Left You. And this chapter was originated in the fact that the Germans have a word for intense loneliness that basically means that your mother's soul has left you, which is just kind of a heartbreaking form of loneliness. So I write about a fairy tale where that word appears. And then I write a little bit about Roland Barthes, who was a French literary theorist, philosopher, critic, and writer. And he wrote a book called, he wrote some journal diary entries several years ago after his mom died, and they were later published as a book called Mourning Diary, Mourning. And I include some quotes from that and just some thoughts on that sort of intense loneliness and how we might experience it and how we might heal from it. So that is chapter 11, When Your Mother's Soul Has Left You. A little bit of backstory, interesting thoughts about it. I will say that I haven't experienced that sort of intense loneliness where I feel like would be as intense, as if your mother's soul has left you. And I kind of see it as something that's worse than even losing your mother to death. It feels like a greater separation to me, but that's just my interpretation of it. And I will say this again, I don't know if I've said this in a while, but my own experiences of loneliness have really decreased a lot since I started working on this book. So the more I've read and written and talked about loneliness and researched it and even talked to other people about loneliness in my podcasts, Hope for the Lonely, an older podcast that I don't really add new episodes to, although I say that and then I'll add an episode in 2 weeks. But anyway, the more I've thought about it, written about it, that kind of thing, the less power loneliness has had over me. So I do, and this is in the book in a couple of chapters at least, I do recommend talking about your loneliness to someone or multiple people who are safe for you to talk to. And okay, this hair thing is driving me crazy. Sorry. That's why you have a producer for your video, whatever things. I have no producer. This is me and my iPhone. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So talk about your loneliness to someone who's safe. Talk about what it means to belong. Whenever we talk about our loneliness, it's also really good to talk about the ways that we belong, which is, I think, one reason people really connect with this book, because I do explore loneliness, but I also explore belonging. And I think people have noticed ways that they belong that they hadn't really noticed before. At least that's what they say in their messages to me. So there's a little bit about The Great Belonging and about chapter 11. You can find more about me and my writing and my work at charlottedonlon.com. You can listen to my current podcast, Our Faith in Writing, at ourfaithinwriting.com, where you will also find information about my spiritual direction offerings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Charlotte Donlon, although the best of what I offer is not on social media. And you can sign up for my email newsletter at charlotte.substack.com. I'm sorry, charlottedonlon.substack.com, where I send 5 good things every Sunday, or sometimes Mondays. Or a few weeks ago, I sent 0 good things just because I didn't feel like coming up with a list of 5 good things. So I just said there are 0 right now, and we can all have space and permission to not have to think about good things. So there's that too. All right, thanks for watching this video, Behind the Scenes with the Great Belonging. I will be back next time with a video with some information and background story and whatnot for chapter 12.